Hey guys, welcome back. Today I'm gonna show you a 2017 American supernatural horror film called Wish Upon. Spoilers ahead. Sit back, relax and enjoy the video. The movie begins with a street full of trees that seems peaceful. A woman is in the attic full of paintings, wrapping up a thing and then putting it in the trash can. Her neighbor greets her as well as her energetic daughter. She lets her ride her bicycle while the neighbor watches her. She is having a great time seeing the bird hatched and her dog playing around her. When she gets home, she hears her mother's sob from the attic. She slowly goes up to check on her mom while calling her. The girl climbs upstairs, but when she enters the room, a chair falls, and her mother is now hanging from above, dead. She screams as loud as she can. Suddenly, the girl wakes up. All grown up after a few years. Apparently, what happened those years ago is still appearing in her dream. Her dad and his friend are going somewhere, and she greets them. She prepares herself to go to school. She goes outside their house and greets their neighbor, Mrs. DeLuca. Claire rides her bicycle on the way. She sees her uncle, so she turns around, but the school bullies see her and don't even bother to adjust. Claire falls to the trash can with a massive wound, then she gives her uncle the newspaper. She arrives at her school, parks her bike, and gets annoyed because she sees her dad and his friend at the front of the school, diving into the dumpster. She goes to him and reminds him not to do it in front of her school because everybody's laughing at her. At school, she posts her painted banner with her friends, but a bully throws a drink at it. Claire gets frustrated and goes to her Chinese class, staring at her crush. Meanwhile, at the dumpster, Claire's father finds various items. One of them is a vintage music box. Back at the school, Claire and her friends are laughing at the bully, then she asks them what's funny. She then tells her she's a smegma and proceeds to tell her the meaning while being sassy. The bully slaps her, so Claire also does it. They have a big fight. Luckily, some people stop them from fighting. After that, Claire goes to their neighbor's home, and Mrs. DeLuca gives her some ice and juice to freshen up from the fight. She tells Claire that the solution to her problem is to find a nice person to have a relationship with. She confesses that she has a crush on her classmate, Paul, but it will most likely not happen. She returns home and gives her dad some herbs from the neighbor. He says he put something on Claire's bed, but she gets annoyed because they have space. Her dad says that it is an early birthday gift. While Claire is painting, her friend sends a message to check Instagram, and she sees Darcy, her bully, posting their fight pictures and her father in the dumpster. Entering her room, she sees a paper bag, and inside it is a music box with engraved ancient Chinese characters. She tries to read it and understands 7 wishes. It has a lock, but she cannot seem to open it. She gets so down and looks at the music box, she holds and wishes that Darcy would go rot. Her dog then scratches her door, so she opens it, but it doesn't want to enter and only stares at the music box. While she sleeps, the music box opens and plays ominous music. The next day, Darcy wakes up and goes to the bathroom. She sees herself having bruises, and her feet are getting black. Her face is black things as well as if she is rotting. Darcy's friends get scared as well. Apparently, Darcy got necrotizing fasciitis and caught it from the spa. She is now in the ICU, and Claire gets shocked. The bully's friends then ask them for some money, but Meredith, Claire's friend, just gives them a middle finger. She stares at the box in her room because she admits that it definitely has her attention. Claire takes pictures of it and then goes outside to look at her dog. She hears some sounds down their house, so she decides to crawl her way inside of it. Shockingly, she sees her dog being eaten up by many rats. Her dad and his friend made a grave to it while Claire couldn't stop crying. Her mom gave it to her, so it hurts. At school, she asks her Chinese professor about the characters engraved on the music box. He says those are ancient Chinese, so if she needs an accurate translation, she should talk to a scholar. Ryan, her classmate, tells her that he can help her with her cousin because she studies ancient Chinese, but his friend is so naughty, so she shrugs off the offer. While eating lunch, Claire's friends are happy that the bully is now gone from school. She is now in her room and still crying while holding her dog's collar. She also receives a message from Meredith to check the profile of his crush, and she sees a bunch of pictures with his girlfriend. Claire then wishes to the music box that Paul will get madly in love with her. As Claire closes her locker, Paul shows up so suddenly and greets her. The music box then opens again, and at the same time, her uncle is dying in his bathroom. When Claire gets home, she sees the news that her uncle is now dead. Her dad says they will not get any of his wills. Claire then sees a bunch of stuff in their house and gets mad at her dad because of keeping things from the dumpster. She enters her room and holds her music box, wishing her uncle would give them everything in his will. Later that day, her dad receives a call saying they will inherit everything her uncle owns. They then pack their things and move to a grand mansion. Claire gets her own car and a gold card to treat her friends. They shop, pamper, and eat everything they can. On the other hand, her neighbor is trying to fix her grinder down the sink, which seems pretty dangerous, while Claire is painting at their house. Suddenly, the music box gets opened and plays sounds. She gets curious and only stares at it. Meanwhile, Mrs. DeLuca is having a hard time with her grinder, so she tries to fix it, but her hair gets caught and eventually dies. The next day, her dad presents her with some paintings of her mom. She becomes emotional with him as they talk about her. She then sees her dad playing saxophone. The last time he played was when her mom was still living. Claire then dreams about the demon in the music box and sees some shadow outside. At school, Paul breaks up with his famous girlfriend. He then invites Claire for them to go out and be partners in their school's program. Claire searches for the characters in the music box but cannot find anything. She asks Ryan what the price would be, and he says his cousin loves wontons, so they decide to go to her place to learn more about the music box. In the car on the way, they are laughing while reminiscing their childhood days and even joking about their dating. They now reach his cousin's house, and she's examining the music box. She explains that it's a Chinese wish pot that grants 7 wishes, but there are rules which she cannot read. They see a name under it, Lu Mei. They read the legend of Lu Mei, which revolves around revenge, demon, and whatnot. When the box is opened and plays music, something happens but she can't understand it, so she sends it to her classmate to learn more. Going home, Claire sees her father on a dumpster again. She gets mad because they already live in a mansion. She holds the music box in her room and wishes her father would not be embarrassing. On the other hand, Gina receives a message from her classmate about the translation. She thinks it's so messed up, so she grabs her phone, but the power goes out, and there is no service. While asleep, Claire's music box gets opened and plays an eerie song. Her dad is now playing saxophone while her friends are watching, and they enjoy it. Meanwhile, Gina calls Ryan to talk about the messed up thing regarding the music box, but her phone breaks from being startled by the wind. She goes back to her place, being scared of the thunderstorms. She falls and hits her eye on a pointy sculpture, ending up her being dead. The next day, Ryan comes to Gina's place, but she isn't picking up. He hears the ringing and sees Gina's cracked phone. He gets worried and climbs his way to her place and sees her dead. At school, she talks to Claire and asks her if she has made a wish already or if the music has been played. Because the price of every desire is blood. However, Claire doesn't want to answer any of it and just runs away. During lunch, Paul invites her, but her friends think she's a traitor. She wishes that she would be the most popular girl in school. She receives a text from Paul inviting her to a party, and everyone likes her as if she's the most popular. Paul kisses her as she asks Claire about the school program. While asleep, she then dreams about the suicide of her mother, only that she's the one in it, so she wakes up and sees a man taking a picture of her. She tries to get him but ends up nothing. Her dad asks her what's wrong, and she replies that someone's following her since she got the music box. The next day, she goes to Mrs. DeLuca's house, but no one's answering her knock. She enters the house, noticing the bad smell, and sees her neighbor dead in front of the sink. Claire becomes extremely sad despite her wishes coming true. She tells her friends what happened, but Meredith doesn't seem to believe her and thinks it's all just a coincidence. June says that she should just throw it away. She's about 2, but she's having second thoughts. Everyone is having fun at the school's program, and Claire is with Paul. June asks her if she got rid of the box, and she says yes. While making out with Paul, she notices something and asks him to lend her his phone. He sees a bunch of pictures of her asleep, so she breaks up with him. Meanwhile, at the vent where she hides the music box, it opens and plays a song again. Meredith and June are waiting for Claire when the torch almost hits June, but Meredith saves her. On the other hand, her dad is on the road and seems to have a problem driving. Meredith goes to the 26th floor to play with her phone while her dad is fixing his car. Claire tells June that she didn't throw the music box. Meredith then gets a problem with the elevator while her dad is also having trouble fixing the car. The box stops playing, and Meredith dies in the elevator, falling. June blames Claire for their friend's death, then Ryan helps her escape the messed up place. They go to Gina's place and try to research the music box. They find various people that own the box, and they all kill themselves in the end. Ryan asks her if she has made any wishes, and she makes 5. He gets mad because people are dying as she makes wishes. She cries and asks for Ryan's help along the way. They try to burn the box and even hit it with heavy hammers, but it cannot be destroyed. That night, she then put the box on the vent again. Claire wakes from a nightmare and sees Paul in front of her with a knife and hurt himself. The next day, Ryan and Claire look for the box, but it's not in the vent anymore. They think that maybe it's done with her and she should move on with her life. Police then come to their mansion saying that taxes haven't been paid for 10 years by Claire's uncle, so they go back to their old house. It's her birthday, and she wishes herself in front of a mirror. She gets bullied again by the mean people and cries in the bathroom. Everyone is also laughing at her. She sees Meredith's picture and sobs. Claire then sees June's locker and sees the music box inside it. They fight about it because she cannot control it. June then falls on the stairs while Claire hugs the music box. Ryan saves June and shouts at Claire. He begs Claire to get rid of the music box, but she says she's not ready yet. Ryan says it's controlling her, but she won't listen to him. Instead, she threatens Ryan. In her room, she begins to get crazy and decides to make a wish that her mother never committed suicide. She then hears her mom calling her name. She hugs her tight and sees her twin sisters greeting her. Claire is so happy to have a delighted family celebrating her birthday. She goes to the attic and looks at the mother's paintings, but she sees a painting of a music box. Claire realizes that her mom owns it and throws it, then commits suicide. She shouts that it's all her mother's fault and cries. She runs to her room and sees the box opening and playing music. Then, her dad is chopping trees branches outside. Claire runs as fast as she can, but her dad's head is now chopped off. She cries so hard and then heads upstairs, wishing to return to the time when she hasn't got the music box yet. Claire wakes up precisely that day with her dog Max. She sees her dad and asks him to be with them in dumpster diving. She also calls her friend Meredith, and is glad to hear her voice. She gets the music box from the dumpster and puts it in her bag. Claire gives the medals to her dad and calls her a good luck charm again. At school, she goes to Ryan, saying sorry and opening up a topic about multiverses, leaving him confused because they aren't even friends yet. She asks for his favor to bury the music box covered in cloth. Ryan agrees, and Claire kisses him. She's about to cross towards the school, but she gets hit by the bully's car. Meredith and June cry as their friend dies. The movie ends with Claire's death and the eerie music from the music box. Thank you for watching. Subscribe for more videos like this to help the channel out. Have a nice day.